Tonight, Toronto City Councilor Cynthia Lai has died.
Certainly, nobody expected that we would lose Councilor Cynthia Lai at this time, and we're also very saddened by it.
First elected 4 years ago, Lai was running in this year's municipal election, hoping to get another term as councillor of Ward 23, Scarborough North. Plus,
the traffic is bad right now. It will be worse soon because the construction will be everywhere.
If you commute downtown, brace yourself for more closures and delays. Major construction work begins Monday on sections of Adelaide, spanning from Bathurst to Parliament. And
I got laid off, and my daughter said, "Daddy, you can cook," and people love your cooking.
And so began Daddy's Kitchen. A Brampton man started a YouTube channel during the pandemic featuring his Jamaican recipes. And before he knew it, millions were tuning in from around the world. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. With the municipal election just days away, many people across the GTA will be spending the weekend considering who they'll vote for on Monday. Some may still be deciding whether to vote at all. Alicia Son went out to talk to people today to see where they stand.
Are you going to be voting on Monday?
I don't think so.
Why not?
I didn't know there was an election going on.
There is.
Oh, there's a vote. I didn't know it was Monday. I thought it was Tuesday.
No, it's definitely Monday, so there's still time to decide.
Unfortunately, I haven't done my research yet, so I'll be spending the weekend reading up, but I'm really looking forward to voting. I think it's such an important thing to do.
You can always count on the Keeners.
I am voting on Monday. I vote all the time.
Well, only about 116,000 people voted in the advanced polls, so if that's any indication, voter turnout might be low this year.
What really brings out more people is if you have a competitive race for the mayor's position.
As political science professor Nelson Wiseman points out, we don't exactly have that. He says typically the more terms the mayor wins, the harder they are to defeat.
And it's very unusual for incumbent mayors to get defeated. One was in Vancouver the other day, one was in Montreal, but in Toronto, you have to go back to the 1970s to have an incumbent mayor that was defeated.
Okay, so maybe you know who you're voting for mayor, city councillor, but what about school trustee? Professor?
I have no idea who the school board candidates are in my constituency.
I don't think they know what a school trustee does.
Longtime school trustee Robin Pilkey says every election there are people blindly voting for a random trustee candidate, and it shows.
Every trustee who is elected is kind of surprised when they get there about what they actually have to do. Toronto District School Board has a budget of $3.5 billion. That's, larger than some provinces. And so you need people who understand the magnitude of that, I think, and recognize that we have a big responsibility. It's a lot of taxpayer money and it affects a lot of students. I sometimes feel like we should do trustee school before the election starts to say, this is what the job really is.
Why is it important to you to vote?
It's important to get into community activism to actually find what's happening in the city.
Are you going to vote on Monday?
Of course.
Yes.
Why not? It's October 24.
Why is it important to you to vote?
To have better life.
Better life, better schools, better city. Vote for it on Monday. Alicia Son, CBC News, Toronto.
Reaction is pouring in tonight over news that Toronto City Councilor Cynthia Lai has died. Now, her campaign said she died in hospital surrounded by family, but did not disclose a cause. Lai was first elected as councillor of Ward 23, Scarborough North, in 2018 and was running for another term in this year's municipal election. Patrick Swadden with Reaction tonight.
The Toronto sign dimmed tonight to honor the memory of Councillor Cynthia Lai.
It's a real shock for myself, for the entire community. We did not expect Cynthia to pass away.
Many shocked to hear about Lai's death. Her campaign confirmed the news this afternoon. Local MP Sean Chen says she worked hard for members of her community.
She brought with her a deep understanding of communities, and she came here as our councillor 4 years ago and she hit the ground running. It's a difficult time for all of us here in Scarborough North.
Other community members also saddened by her death. Restaurant manager Mujahid Sikandar said she was a great leader and had done a lot for her community.
Any kind of issues, queries, any request that we go for, she's the first person to pick up the phone call and get this thing resolved.
Sikandar adding She was always willing to help any.
She introduced herself and told any kind of help that you guys need, that I'm here for you. That kind of open person she is.
Lai's colleagues and friends also taking the time to share their thoughts. Councilor Jennifer McKelvey was also elected in 2018 to represent Scarborough in City Council.
She always called me her buddy, which always made me smile. I just learned so very much from her about the Chinese Canadian community in Toronto. Professionally, she was just an amazing champion for Scarborough and a strong member of many of our committees.
Meanwhile, Mayor Tory reacting to Lai's death in a statement tonight saying, "I have known Cynthia for more than 20 years and was always impressed by her strength and professionalism. I am proud to have had the opportunity to serve with her." Sikander says despite her passing, he will keep her campaign sign up outside his restaurant.
And of course, we're 3 days away from our municipal election. We see her signs all across the riding.
The city says the ballots for Election Day have already been printed and cannot be changed in time. Anybody voting in Scarborough North on Monday will be notified of Lai's death. As for what this means for people who have already voted for Lai in advance or by mail, the city says those votes won't be counted as per the Municipal Elections Act. Patrick Swadden, CBC News, Toronto.
The Ford government will introduce a new piece of its housing bill next week, immediately after the municipal election. According to reports, it will be sweeping new legislation that will include overriding local zoning to allow more missing middle housing to be built. Lorena Redekop has those details.
New housing legislation is coming on Tuesday, according to the press secretary for the housing minister. That's the first day politicians will be back at Queen's Park and the day after the municipal election.
It's something this government likes to do, either before an election or right after an election. But listen, I think that a lot of these measures are much needed, and they're needed as soon as possible.
According to the Toronto Star, the province will override municipal zoning to allow duplexes or triplexes, provided a home's square footage doesn't increase, allowing for more of what's known as the missing middle in areas with single-family homes. Some have called for allowing fourplexes.
On the multiplexes, I thought they were going to be going a bit further, that they would be a little bit more ambitious on that.
But allowing extra units on a property is something opposition parties have been calling for at a time when many people struggle to buy and rental rates have skyrocketed.
And that must be twinned with a plan to build more affordable housing, as well as measures to clamp down on speculation and bring in real rent control.
According to the Toronto Star, the legislation will also limit the role of conservation authorities in housing, making them commenting agencies focused on natural hazards such as flooding, rather than panels that residents have used to stall development.
We absolutely need to increase the supply of housing. But if that supply is going to be put into dangerous locations, especially places that are susceptible to flooding, that puts people's lives and livelihoods at risk.
CBC was told Minister Clark was not available for an interview today, but yesterday told the Toronto Star Ontario likely won't meet its new housing starts target of 100,000 homes this year, and possibly not next year either.
It's very concerning because the province would need to build something like an additional 600,000 units just to get to the Canadian national average, which is, like I said, the worst amongst the G7.
However, he calls expected changes for more missing middle homes a huge step in the right direction. Lorena Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
Let's go to Dahlia Ashry now with a first look at your forecast. And Dahlia, after a few days of wet, gloomy weather, the skies open.
That's right, Kelda. It was a beautiful day today. What a way to kick off the weekend on a bright and sunny note, clear skies. And that's all thanks to the high pressure system that's moving in across the province. But first, let's talk about the daytime high today in Toronto, 17 degrees. We're sitting above seasonal temperatures. Just the other day, we were sitting below seasonal temperatures. So this is just beautiful news for the weekend. Now, a little warmer out in Windsor, 20 degrees. And again, we were talking about the high pressure system that's moving in across the province. As you can see here, clear skies. skies. And that's there we see it going, the high pressure system, and giving us those clear skies and sunny conditions and double digits for the daytime highs and even for the daytime low. The low for the evening. It's going to be a windy one. Today, winds will be gusting up to 59 kilometers an hour. We're going to see it ease up just a little bit Saturday morning at around 11 a.m. and then it will pick up again as we head into Sunday, but then it will really calm down Sunday morning at around 8 a.m., 28 kilometers an hour. Tonight, temperatures will drop to 11 degrees, those double digits. We haven't seen that in a while because we were sitting near the freezing mark the past few days. And then tomorrow afternoon, 19 degrees, a great time to head outdoors and enjoy a pumpkin patch, enjoy that sunshine. Kelda?
Thanks so much, Dahlia. Toronto police are hoping to reunite a dog owner with their stolen puppy. A 12-week-old French bulldog named Harry was stolen from a car almost 2 weeks ago. The owner telling CBC Toronto the dog is a registered emotional support animal and he just wants Harry back.
I'm pretty sure they're showing the dog off, like, oh, look at the new puppy I got. Oh, yeah, I just picked him up. So if you see him, just please call me. Because I don't want to cry on TV, but honestly, just please.
The dog was stolen in this parking garage near King and Spadina in the early morning hours of Sunday, October 9th. Harry was briefly left inside the vehicle. The car's alarm was triggered, and when Hudson came to investigate, the dog was gone. The white and brown bulldog is microchipped and registered to his owner. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. If you commute downtown, you know how congested it gets. Well, brace yourself for even more delays. The city will be embarking on a huge downtown construction project starting next week that, yes, will mean more closures. Greg Ross has more on what to expect and for how long.
If you think traffic in the downtown core is bad now, this could be just the tip of the iceberg.
The traffic is bad right now. It will be worse soon, because the construction will be everywhere.
The city is about to begin a major construction project along Adelaide Street that is expected to last several months. It includes upgrades to the roads and bike lanes, replacing water mains, and reinstating streetcar tracks that are currently not being used.
People are going to have a harder time getting around.
I think it's going to be terrible. It's bad enough trying to get on the Gardner as it is getting out of the city, so I don't know how you're going to get out from here if it's closed.
My daughter's daycare is here, so we come here every day. I take this street back to go to Adelaide. So yeah, I mean that is concerning, but if it gets the city in a better shape, then maybe it's a good thing.
The projected completion date for all of this work is sometime next spring. It will see sections of Adelaide closed between Parliament and Bathurst starting as early as next week, when the city says to expect localized closures and lane reductions between Duncan Street and Bay Street.
Let's just hope that the city can organize, facilitate, and execute the way that they say they plan to do.
Wesley Barber runs Ration Beverly Restaurant just a few streets over on Queen. For him, the work on Adelaide is actually just the calm before the storm because it's a precursor to an even bigger project, with the province planning to begin work on the Ontario Line subway as early as next year.
It's not great news.
Barber has first-hand experience with this kind of work that will be done along Queen. He lives on Eglinton Avenue.
I saw my area impacted for almost 15 years. Businesses going out of business.
Just like they did with the Eglinton LRT, the province will begin tunneling under the street along Queen and building new subway stops under existing ones. There have been numerous delays in that construction, and Barber is concerned about the potential for similar delays on Queen.
Unexpected turns are bound to happen, and it's scary. It's scary news, to be honest.
Now, Metrolink says that they've learned a lot of lessons from what happened with the Eglinton LRT, and they plan to bring that experience to the work that's going to be done on Queen Street. They also say there's been a lot more prep work done along Queen Street, which includes reinstating those streetcar tracks along Adelaide, which they will use to divert streetcars to when the work begins on that Ontario Line subway. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Welcome back. We heard about a lot of career changes during the pandemic. Well, for one Brampton man who worked in a kitchen, he kept cooking even after being laid off and ended up stumbling into YouTube stardom. He's now known as Deddy of Deddy's Kitchen, and his Jamaican recipes are getting love from across the globe. Talia Ricci joined him in the kitchen.
Smell that?
Smells amazing.
2020. I got laid off, and my daughter said, Daddy, you can cook, and people love your cooking. My friends love your cooking. So let's start a YouTube channel. And we started a YouTube channel, and that is it.
All right, we are back in Daddy's kitchen.
Did you have any idea that it would blow up to be this big?
No, I didn't have an idea. I was so shy, uncomfortable.
Louder for the camera, Daddy. Your family can't hear you.
So today we're going to be cooking together, but also learning a little bit more about Daddy's kitchen. Why don't we start with what we're making today? Tell me a bit about that.
Okay, we're making a vegetarian stew peas. So okay, I'm gonna add some garlic, green onions, and fresh thyme. I pick off my tree right there. So I had my Scotch bonnet peppers.
I love these. I can handle spice, I promise. Yeah. What do you love about cooking?
Oh, it's a passion. That's my passion for cooking. I think God created me for this.
So what's been your most popular video so far on YouTube?
Jamaican beef patty.
And here is our first little patty. What do you mean? Lord of mercy for true, Daddy.
Lord of mercy.
How many views does it have?
2.3 million.
Wow. How does that make you feel?
Wonderful. I'm top of the world.
What do you think is so special about food that it like brings people together?
Food is the key of life. So when you can cook food, a good pot of food, and you and your family can sit down and eat and enjoy it, that's a celebration. We come together as one.
You gotta give them a little razzle dazzle. Come on.
And so we hear your daughter in your videos a lot. We don't see her, but how is she a part of your YouTube series?
But people have demanded that we get my father here a YouTube channel.
She's the backbone of it. Oh yes, she's the one who created it. Come on in, the price is right.
What kind of responses have you seen in the comments and from people who respond to the videos that like warm your heart the most?
You know, a lot of people just talk about the fact that it has really reminded them that family time and cooking together and eating together is super important. There's people who are like, oh my gosh, like I just cooked my first meal for my girlfriend, or, you know, oh, my dad passed away years ago and this was the first time that I felt his presence again, just watching your videos. There's so many things that people have said that have just been like, wow, I can't believe, we just thought it was a cooking channel to, you know, teach people a couple meals, but it's so much deeper than that.
When I first get my first paycheck, I was doing this thing. I never know that you get paid for it. I was just doing it as fun. When she gave me that money on my birthday, I was shocked. I could not believe it. I said, what? You made this money on YouTube?
Okay, so fresh in Jamaica, in Jamaican terms, means that it's not like either salty enough or it's not sweet enough. It's fresh, meaning like it's lacking that.
More salt.
It needs more salt.
After 19 years, that kitchen laid you off, and then you were telling me they called you back. Tell me about that.
They called me back that they want me back. I said no. And God put me in a different position, working for myself. In my home. That's a blessing. Every man have a purpose in life, whether you're young or you're old. Like me, I'm 65 years old. It's like I just start my life.
This is like probably one of my favorite vegetarian meals I've had.
Yeah, get that.
Daddy, you're fun.
And this is a live shot of the Toronto skyline tonight. Mostly clear this evening and remaining clear overnight after a beautiful day with warmer temperatures than we've gotten the last few days. Currently, it is 13 degrees downtown. Let's go back to Dahlia now with a look at your extended forecast. And Dahlia, the next few days looking pretty good. More of what we got today, right? Sunshine and some warmer temps.
That's right, Kelda. I mean, earlier today, you probably had a cap on or sunglasses compared to a toque the other day, and the scarves that we've been wearing just to keep us all bundled up and warm. We were sitting near the freezing mark in the evening, and that's because that low pressure system that was moving in and that Arctic air. We get a break from that. We go from November-like conditions back to those summer-like September conditions where we have a lot of sunshine, clear nights, and some dry conditions ahead. The daytime high in Toronto today, 17 degrees, a little cooler in Kitchener, 16 degrees, in Barrie, 15, but a little warmer in Windsor, 20 degrees. Now again, that's all thanks to this high pressure system that's moving in across the province, and that's what typically gives us those clear skies, sunny conditions. As you can see, there's not too many clouds all the way up until we hit Sunday, and even going into Monday, we're still going to be seeing those clear skies. So really a chance to enjoy your weekend, head outdoors. If you like to decorate your home for Halloween, this is probably the weekend to do it, because next weekend it might get a little cooler. As we head into Sunday, really, we're still seeing those clear skies. A little bit of cloud coverage starts to come in. Now, we just bypassed Saturday because I wanted to fast forward here to Wednesday. It's a lot of green, and that means some precipitation. That's what we're going to be seeing as we head into Wednesday. But really, we have a ways to go until Wednesday. Really, you get to enjoy the weekend with those clear skies and those sunny conditions. A great chance to be outdoors. 11 degrees overnight tonight, mainly clear skies, so even a great chance to enjoy your evening. And Markham a little cooler, 9 degrees. Now, over the next few days, like I said, all sunshine in store for us. That's what we're going to be seeing. So really trade in your toques for your hats, your caps, and your sunglasses. Trade them in because you won't need your umbrella anytime soon. Wednesday is really the chance that you might be seeing those scattered showers. But really, all we're talking about is that breezy condition for tomorrow. But 19 degrees. That is the warm temperature for this week, and that's really what we can look forward to and the weekend and the next few days. Kelda?
Thanks so much, Dahlia. And that's our show for you tonight and for the week. Thank you so much for watching. Shannon Martin has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6. I will see you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone.